Greetings, Mandrake here. This is a special video that will cover the locations of numerous Power Weapon Ammo Dispensers found in the open world of Halo Infinite campaign. I was intrigued with finding a few of these in the wild and wanted to find as many as possible. I gathered a bunch of clips and assembled this video to become another resource for the Halo Infinite campaign community. As of the recording of this commentary, I have currently found 49 dispensers at 38 locations. Power weapons can be refilled with this dispenser, include the sniper rifle, rocket launcher, cinder shot, energy sword, gravity hammer, and skewer, and also any variants of said weapons. As per the norm in the open world, all of the roadblocks, road checkpoints, road patrols, off-road patrols, and camps are random. Sometimes an area is occupied, other times the area is empty. Sometimes the arrangement of enemies and decoration can be different than a previous visit. The same rules apply to a Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser location. There can be 3 different outcomes. The PWAD will spawn, nothing will spawn, leaving an empty area, or the location may have a different arrangement of enemies, equipment, and decoration without the PWAD. Here is a basic example of a single layout PWAD location. First I'll show the PWAD arrangement. There is only one enemy, a Hammer Chieftain. If you see him, the PWAD is here. There are 3 roadblocks at one end, 3 at the other, sparse decoration, and there's the PWAD. Next example is there is nothing here. This is the same location, nothing here, no decoration, nothing. That lamppost is permanent. It's always here. And here we have an enemy arrangement with no PWAD. There's several enemies here. We'll notice some different roadblocks and different placement of the roadblocks, different decoration, crates, coils, weapon racks. This arrangement of enemies will have, it has a gold elite, 2 skimmers, a blue elite, and 2 grunt ultras. And then here's a second enemy arrangement without the PWAD. You got these 3 grunts walking on the road, and there's these 2 parked ghosts. You get close to the area and you trigger drop pod reinforcements. And these reinforcements vary and they're random. So this particular one had 4 grunt ultras. What's common is 2 reinforcements with berserkers. And there are a variety of exceptions that I will cover when applicable. To kick off this expedition, I'll begin with covering 4 PWADs found at 3 locations on the recovery territory. I am just south of FOB Foxtrot, and just off to my left as I just passed by the Spartan Core. Take you to the first location. By this cliff edge, just walking distance from that Spartan Core. You'll notice that Jackal Sniper up there is your first clue that the Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser will spawn here. And I got enemies over at that Spartan Core giving me a little grief, kind of shooting at me. Your other clue that you really want to look for is to see if there's any equipment, like if there's weapon racks, crates, things like that. If you see those, then you'll have a Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser here. With this location, there are 2 possible layouts for this ammo dispenser. So you see this one here is by the cliff edge with a kinetic ammo dispenser and 2 weapon racks. The enemies you're going to find here, there's 2 different types of enemies you can get for this arrangement. You get a jetpack brute with 2 grunts, 2 jackal miners, and 2 jackal snipers. One up there as I'm throwing dynamos at the one up on the ridge. The other enemy grouping that you could get would contain 3 brute miners, 1 brute major, and a jackal sniper, as in the jackal sniper up on that ridge where I was throwing dynamos earlier. Here on the map, showing you the location. See the Mjolnir Armory Locker. Got Foxtrot and the Spartan Core. Moving on to the second arrangement. See, this positioning is different, and all the decoration weapon racks are all different, and there's an added ghost. And if you need to reset this area and come back and try again, just go to Foxtrot or Golf. So with this location, there are 4 possible arrangements. One of the 2 PWAD layouts, nothing at all, or 3 mules with no decoration, no crates, just a few dead bodies with some small arms scattered around. Now I'm going to be heading to this Spartan Core that's south of Golf. This one too is hard for it to appear. Your best chances of it appearing would be just playing the game normally and then going to this location to get the Spartan Core for the first time is kind of your best chance, but even then it might not even show up.
Disappoint them.
Nice. You need to manually raise each
I know when trying to do this video or make this video, I spent an absorbent amount of time just trying to go back and forth and back and forth. Usually just going to a FOB or going about 600 meters away can sometimes reset this area. It will appear, as you see just to the right, at that crate. When that phantom appears, it's just more... It's a couple of these berserkers. And when I had the ghost, I had to clear out of there. So once you get all the enemies killed, you get the Spartan Core. And like I'm saying, off to in this middle area here by this big crate, you'll find the ammo dispenser. This next location, I am in a WASP just passing over the Acro Vagadoon HVT location and moving along. I'm heading south, southeast, and it is going up the mountain here. I'm going a little more easterly now. This is a tricky one to find. If you just follow this path, it'll lead you to it. But don't count on this one showing up. This one is very, very, very rare to make an appearance. There are 2 arrangements of this, but I don't have a video of the second one because I could never get it to show up. And since making these videos, even without doing clips or stream or anything, I have yet to be able to get the second appearance to show up. So this one's tricky. This is very, very rare. So along this cliff edge here, you see these little pillars. You'll find some enemies. You got to go ahead and eliminate the enemies. That's gonna, you can see the enemies that are here, so kind of make note of them. So you have 2 brute snipers with the skewer. You had a brute jetpack captain and a mule. And right here along the edge, where there's kind of like a little drop off, like a breakaway, is where the ammo dispenser is. I mean, it's really out of the way. I wouldn't count on it showing up. The other place this dispenser will appear will be along this edge, just to the right of where it currently is placed. You jump across to the other ledge, and that's where it will be located. So many times I've spent hours trying to get the second appearance, the second one to show, and even the numerous times I came here, I think only 2 other times I've had this show up. Now, as far as getting it to, trigger or getting it to reset, just go back to a FOB, and it doesn't matter which FOB. Just go to any one of the 2 FOBs, and this area will reset. You'll come back. Sometimes it's empty. Other times it's just different arrangement of enemies. I think what I'll do is to kind of even give a better clue, I'll put a waypoint, and you can see the distance from Acro Vagadoon, the HVT, to this location. Moving on to the excavation site territory, I'm traveling north to the next location, which is just west of Courier Squad. And what you're looking for is a shock barrel in the middle of the intersection, as you see there. It is guarded by 2 occupied ghosts, one with a grunt and one with an elite. That's going to tell you that the dispenser is present and did spawn up here. And there's also going to be a brute sniper. He's near the ammo dispenser up here on the hill that overlooks the intersection. And like I said, it's just to the west of Courier Squad. It's part of the Echo area. There's also a mule somewhere hidden in the weeds, and he took a ghost, and while I was in the map, started shooting me. Unaware and caught off guard by that. The appearance of this PWAD at this location is uncommon to rare. It does not like to spawn. There is an alternate arrangement of this location without the PWAD that has roadblocks. So if you see roadblocks, it won't be here. You can scan from the intersection here. You can run a scan, and you'll find it on your scan. It'll be up there on the hill. Additionally, this location is very difficult to reset. Typically, you would just travel to a nearby FOB or 800 meters away. I find sometimes that doesn't work. You may have to take additional steps to try and reset this, like requisition of vehicle or weapon at a FOB, or kill some enemies at a nearby camp.
In here.
This next location features 2 different arrangements, which is a good thing because it's a better chance that one or the other will spawn. It is going to be a roadblock, and it is located south of Charlie and just east of Forge of Tish. And being that this features 2, this will be the first one. And for the sake of this clip, the enemies at this checkpoint were already killed off,
On foot.
which were 3 brutes and 2 grunts. And you'll notice at this roadblock here, there's equipment in the road. And that's really what you're looking for. When you drive up, and if you find equipment, decoration, items, you know, like the cages in the middle of the road, then that means it will be here. There's an alternate layout without the PWAD that the equipment is off the road. It's actually to the left and to the right, and nothing is in the road. And of course, it can feature nothing being here at all, so obviously it won't be here.
Sure glad the chief's
As you can
back.
see, there's several
kinda
weapon
sorta
racks.
hoping
There
to
was
kill
a
us
sniper
yourself.
rifle, a chain gun, a chain gun hog, whole variety of things. There's some dynamos. Lots of stuff at this intersection. This alternate layout, here's the other layout for the other PWAD.
This is my stop.
This one only has 3 grunts, and I've already killed them off. It will also have a ghost. You let the enemies mill around long enough, and one of them will get into the ghost. This intersection doesn't have as much equipment and much stuff, but it does, it does again feature as a roadblock with items in the road. A few things are off the road, but again, what you're looking for is if there is stuff in the road, then it will be here. I am heading north on the road to Alpha, and you'll come across this roadblock. There'll be plenty of enemies. You got some jackals, skirmishers, jetpacker, and brute. These guys taken out. Marines are doing a pretty good job. This PWAD will only spawn here if FOB Alpha is in the stinking paws of the damn dirty banished. Once you capture the FOB, this PWAD will not spawn here anymore. Other arrangements can spawn here, just without the Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser. heading down this road just west of FOB Echo. Off to the left you saw that Forerunner structure where there is a Spartan core in the basement. Off to the right here and up the mountain is a propaganda tower.
Enemies
This
got eyes on me.
This particular one does not appear. It's more uncommon than common. It doesn't show up that often. It's hard for it to appear. You have these 3 grunts that are on plasma turrets. You get a phantom reinforcements, and it can appear before and after destroying the propaganda tower. So I come up here, if it hasn't been destroyed, if it's fresh, it can make an appearance, and if it doesn't show, I destroy the tower, leave, come back, and it might actually appear. Here at FOB Delta, I'm going to fly to Pronto Squad up in the mountains and head southwest a short distance. The appearance of this dispenser is rare at this location. It doesn't like to spawn. It can show up anytime. So here at Pronto Squad, this is where it was. It's already been completed. And just over this little rise here. And the enemies you will have here will be a jetpack brute, a brute miner, a blue elite, and 3 grunts. So if you find this arrangement, then the dispenser will be here. There's also a weapon rack that sits next to the dispenser. Well, those are your clues to see if it's here. I return back to FOB Delta, just to the northeast. I'm going to head up the mountain, really not too far. First clue is looking for a mule, and you'll hear the phantom, you just ignore it. You'll find just a regular grunt. Off to the right will be another mule. And then you'll find a jackal sniper by the dispenser and another jackal sniper off to the left of that on the ridge. There's also a plasma ammo dispenser over there just to the right of the PWAD. This one does not like to show often, and just shy of 340 meters to Delta. Moving on to FOB Bravo, this next dispenser is walking distance just down the road to the west. There's a little road checkpoint, and then it's up on a hill, mountaintop. On down the road here, you'll see this road checkpoint. I've already taken care of the enemies. You get to here, and then you go up to the top of the hill or the mountain. These enemies have been taken care of as well. The sign to know that the dispenser's here is you're looking for equipment like crates and weapon racks. That tells you that it's here. It is random as to the enemy groupings that guard this area, like elites, grunts, jackals. Also throw in a jetpack brute. Additionally, the reinforcement groupings are also random in the form of 5 drop pods. You get berserkers, grunt ultras, skirmishers, and brutes. Starting here at Bravo. Fly to that mountain peak. That peak also overlooks the excavation site, the actual pit site. And I'm heading toward those trees. Get up here, look for the brute sniper. I'm going to take him out first. Be a couple grunts. And a couple jackals. When I originally discovered this location, it would spawn often. Then when I went to make the clips, it did not like to show as often as it did in the early going. But I would like to say it does have a good chance to show. I'll put a waypoint down at Bravo to show the distance. Approximately 420 meters. I'm going to drop one on the excavation site because it's also near that as well. Approximately 450 meters there. This is it for the excavation site territory. There are no PWADs found on Pelican Down. Moving on to the sequence territory. So this was an easy one. This one is common. FOB Lima, just run across the street and you go to this Spartan Core location. And it can be here before you collect it and after you collect it. The thing is, just throw up a threat sensor. If you find a sleeping grunt or sleeping grunts, there's actually like 6 or 7, however many there are. You find sleeping grunts, then it's going to be here. There's other types of layouts, but for this to appear, you need to find the sleeping grunts. There's also some other decent weapons and ammo and stuff like that here. You got the the hard light ammo dispenser, which is good. There's a cinder shot. And there's several little things, but being this far into the game, those are just kind of meh. Because at this point, you can pretty much requisition a lot of stuff. Lots of sleeping grunts. You can go in, get what you want. Just be careful and don't disturb any of them. And your Marines will follow you to it and wake them up. I am near FOB Lima. However, this clip was already made with the starting point at this Mjolnir Armory Locker, which has the War Master's Prize Commando Rifle coating. You could just as easily depart from Lima to travel to the PWAD location, which is just to the southeast of Lima. And you want to make your way to the very top of this mountain of pillars. I have experienced 2 different sets of enemies coming up here for this dispenser. There's been a jetpack brute with an elite and 3 jackals. And on another occasion, I found a hammer chieftain, a jackal major, and 3 grunts. And if you see those sets of enemies, the dispenser will be here. From Hotel, I'm headed towards the HVT Rithcool area. On the South Mountain Peak is the next PWAD location. It features 2 different layouts. As I pass by the Rithcool site, I see brutes. Shield brutes is your first clue that the dispenser can be here. The second clue is these 2 brutes at this lower location here. They have shock rifles. And here at the top is where the dispenser is located, and there is a brute sniper with a skewer. Now, brutes at the Rithcool site and those 2 snipers down at the lower portion is a clue, but not a guarantee, but usually a good sign that it will spawn here. This is the same location, the Rithcool. Just pass it on the left. Get to show you the second layout for this. Just found this. This is the same area where you found on the first layout 2 brute snipers. And in this section there's 2 skimmers. Move up to this upper section where the dispenser is, and you should have a sentinel and another skimmer. And if you see those, then the dispenser will be here. I am back at Rithcool. The Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser will only appear here if you see these enemies. The Hammer Chieftain, the Scrap Cannon Chieftain, and the Brute Sniper. This is an unusual arrangement of enemies. 2 chieftains in a single location is very unusual here in the open world. I was not looking for this dispenser, but I did happen to find it here, and it was always in the back of my mind because I've found some other dispensers, like the other Power Weapon Ammo Dispensers, at other HVT locations. Starting at FOB Hotel, this next location is close to the HVT Engadin site. In the early going, this PWAD showed up most of the time when I visited, and when I attempted to make the clip, it decided not to spawn. I had to make numerous trips before it finally showed up. Since making the clip, it may show up in 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 1 in 5 trips. Just return to hotel to reset the area. Here at Engadin, there it is off to the left, at the bottom here. The PWAD is west of the HVT site on the ridge above. The enemies you will encounter will be, here in the video, will be 3 skimmers and 1 jackal sniper by the dispenser. Alternately, you could get another grouping of enemies. You could get a Spec Ops Elite, Red Elite, which will camo, and a Jackal Major, and then another grouping of enemies you could end up with: 2 Shield Brutes, a Brute Sniper, and a Grunt Ultra. Back at FOB Hotel, and just to the west and up this main road, as you'll see to the left there's a small pillar complex, which is where I'm heading. We'll feature 2 different layouts for the next PWAD location. This first location is here on this grassy area here at the top of this rocky top. If you see these 2 choppers, those 2 brute choppers, the dispenser will be here. It'll kind of be by those trees. Camp is guarded by a jetpack brute, which has a Hydra, 2 brute miners, a jackal major, 2 grunts, and a jackal miner, which are up there on that part of the hill. There's also an alternate arrangement without the PWAD of enemies and without the brute choppers. You would have a Red Elite, 2 Jackal Majors, but more importantly a blue Elite and a Ghost that patrols on top of the pillars, and he'll make his way over into this grassy area and try and challenge you. Approximately 385 meters from the FOB. Next location, or the second layout, or the second arrangement of the PWAD, is on top of this pillar complex, on top of the pillars. If you see that plasma cannon, those screens, or that deployable screen, deployable cover, then it will be here. And if you see any equipment up on top of here, that's also your other clue that the dispenser will be here as well. It is guarded by a Gold Elite, a Blue Elite, Jackal Sniper, 2 Jackal Miners, and also note that one of the elites will try and make a beeline for the Ghost and get in the Ghost. Now, fortunately, here this Ghost, or the elite, got in the Ghost, and he falls off the cliff, and you'll see here in a moment. I'll look down. You see him on the radar. He goes down there. Once all the enemies are dead, a Phantom will come by and do like a wellness check. They come by, don't drop off any reinforcements, and before he shoots, I end up shooting him. Just showing here on the map the location and showing everything here, and it's 380 meters. there's a alternate arrangement of enemies. The arrangement, all the equipment and everything is the same. It's just the enemies are different. You get a brute miner, a brute major with a rocket launcher, and a brute sniper, and a couple grunt ultras. And again, either the brutes or the grunts are going to make a beeline and want to get in the ghost. And once they're all dead, then again, here comes the phantom to kind of do a drive-by and do a little welfare check. Alright, southwest of Hotel, you follow this road, and this road takes you to at least the entrance of an area that leads you to the propaganda tower that's in the area. Now take a look up the road. If you see that brute chopper on this side of that bridge, then the PWAD will be here. And when you get up to this area here, this is where you'll find one of two different appearances. It has two different layouts. Just gonna fight off these enemies. Yeah, that elite went camo. And you have these three brutes by one of those banished propaganda towers. So I'll spend a little bit getting them killed so they're not bothering me. Just takes time. Just takes taking up time in the video. I'll get landed and show you where it is on the map. Like I said, it's just close to Hotel. And it's kind of common. It's more likely than, I guess, less likely that it appears. But if anything, you have one that appears here. And coming up with the next clip, there's another one. You kind of come to the same area. You don't come up to this part. It's when you go off-road and go driving down, you'll find it down there. I'm going to take a ghost this time. Same road. From Hotel. And you have this little drop-off, and if you find this sentinel, then it's likely that ammo dispenser will be here. I'm going to drive right past it. There's an elite, so I was just trying to get some distance. And as I was driving down here, I was kind of going exploration mode, and I kind of realized I better focus on the ammo dispenser. I got to get up here and take out this elite and show it on the map. This other one here is a roadblock. This is also one that's kind of common. And to know if it's going to appear is if you find these roadblock things, these kind of X-looking things. See these kind of roadblock-looking things. You see these, then it's going to appear.
Defeated! I'll kill you for this! Ah!
And this one's really close to hotel. This is also another one by hotel. This is also another new location I found after making the video. This is at Fortune Squad, so right up at Fortune Squad, and you head on down the little road, the little path, and you make this little turn here. Follow this route, and on top of this little pier island complex, whatever, really kind of congested with a bunch of little trees and stuff like that, so it's really kind of buried in here. This location is protected by a Red Elite and 2 Jackal snipers, and that's your clue to know that the dispenser will be here. If you see them, it's here. And it's also very uncommon that it spawns. Alright, so just north of hotel, there's this pillar complex or pier complex. You'll see it there. It says that huge complex there. Just kind of follow along the road. You just kind of, and you'll see it kind of, there's like a division, kind of splits down the middle. And this is where you'll find the ammo dispenser. And it has 2 different layouts, 2 different arrangements. So here's one of them. There's usually quite a few enemies here you gotta fight off. You get one layout where it's in the middle of this area, and the other layout, which you'll see here in just a moment, will be just off to the left. This is also in the same area near the one that I flew to with the Banshee, where it was up the top of a waterfall. So you're walking distance from that location. In other words, if you keep walking through the split, just right down the middle, if you just keep walking, you'll come up to where you are at the top, at the waterfall, and you just hang a left, and it's at the top of the waterfall. Here at this very same pillar complex, I'm on the very top of the complex here. So you just took out a scrap cannon chieftain, and just some brutes. There's a brute sniper with the shock rifle, and there's some other brutes. But really, the telltale sign that this dispenser will show up here will be that scrap cannon chieftain. It is uncommon to rare for this dispenser, this PWAD, to spawn at this location because it competes with other nearby PWAD locations as well. And as I just showed you before, there was 2 of them down below. There's one at the top of the waterfall, and there's also one close to that. So you have 4 others that can spawn by this location that kind of compete with each other. Here at FOB Hotel, it is important to note that it is under banished control, and this next location will not show if it's not under banished control. Notice the chain hog. It is the key to know if the dispenser spawns. This little camp here, protected by several enemies, is just to the west of the FOB. There's 3 Jackal Majors, 1 Elite Ultra, a Sentinel, and 2 Brute Miners. Seems like a bunch of enemies. And as I mentioned, while under banished control, this area will spawn. Once you capture the FOB, once you capture Hotel, this site will no longer spawn here. Moving on to FOB Juliet. I want to show you 2 routes to the next location. One by air, one by ground. I'll start with the Wasp. I'm going to head to the Spartan Core west of Juliet. This route is how I originally found this location. There's going to be a lot of enemies at this Spartan Core, regardless to whether it's been completed or not, or it's been collected or not. and I'm just going to pass them by. I'm not going to engage. And just off to the right here, you see the waterfall. Follow the flow of water. Just to the left there is a Spartan audio log. Go up to the top of the waterfall, continue following the flow of water. And here at the top, if you see equipment, the PWAD will be here. Otherwise, there will be nothing here. The Phantom you hear is just going to fly by. There won't be any engagement. This next route, I'm going to take a ghost by ground. And you'll see just off to the west there a north-south road. I'm just going to pass through the grounds of the FOB, and I'll end up on that road. Here's the north-south road. Going to head on up. You'll see this little Pride Rock. I'm going to pass it. There's going to be a chopper coming up ahead. Maybe you encounter one, maybe you won't. But just around the corner to the left here, past these pillars, I'm going to make a left. The chopper will not pursue. Straight ahead is that north central complex with 2 layouts, 2 on the ground, 1 on top. Again, the Phantom is just going to pass by. It will not engage. This PWAD does not spawn too often due to the other competing nearby PWADs. And this location is just northwest of the Spartan Core. Now, off to the left there, I'm looking at this little pond island. There's some marine weapons like a Hydra and small arms. If you come over here, you're going to trigger some enemy reinforcements in the form of drop pods. Going to be some pretty heavy hitters coming out. Going to have a Berserker. Second one there's going to have a Grunt. This one's a regular Grunt. Sometimes it can be a Grunt Ultra. And here comes the big boy. It's a shielded scrap cannon chieftain. And then another Berserker. And then lastly, you're going to have for this clip, there's a Brute Miner. In other cases, it's been a shielded Brute with a rocket launcher. And what's left here is you've got a kinetic ammo dispenser, and then there's a rack with a sword and a stalker. This one here is northwest of Juliet. This one drove me crazy. I had a screenshot of this on my computer, and I came across it one day, and looking at it, I'm kind of wondering, where was this? And it was just driving me crazy, trying to figure out how to find this again. It took a little while, but I did find it. Now this location is a little bit, it is uncommon. It doesn't really spawn often. If you see equipment up here, like you see like these kind of roadblocks and these crates and a marine and a cage, then it's going to be here. It is protected by Elite Ultra, 2 Skimmers, a Sentinel, and a Jackal Major. Starting here at Juliet again. Just to the north of the FOB is a Mjolnir Armory Locker with the War Master's Prize Assault Rifle coating. You can just follow the main road you're driving. You can just kind of follow along the route I'm taking, or you could just fly to the top of those pillars, or grapple to the top of those pillars. The telltale sign that this will spawn is you're looking for 2 skirmishers and 1 jetpack brute. If you see them, it's gonna be here. Otherwise, if it's not here, there's a variety of enemies that can spawn here, like a grouping of sentinels, a grouping of elites, or a grouping of brutes, and sometimes nothing at all. This location is very difficult for the ammo dispenser to spawn. I've made numerous trips here just to make this clip, and many times I couldn't get it to show. So I felt lucky that I was able to get it to appear this time. Like I said, numerous clips. Like I said, I ran into many other types of arrangements of enemies. So in this case, I think it's kind of rare that this one shows up. Next door to the Mjolnir locker, the next PWAD is at the HVT Skimmer Alpha site. As of the making of this clip, Juliet is under banished control. It has not yet been captured. So the HVT Skimmer Alpha will not show on the map. It is protected by a lone Elite Ultra, which I've already killed off. The PWAD can spawn before and after eliminating the HVT, just not while it is alive. It is very, very rare for this PWAD to spawn. Your best chance may be when Juliet is in banished control. No guarantees. Still hard to get after you capture Juliet. You have this Spartan core that's off the road, that's kind of in between Juliet and Hotel. So it's just to the north. This location features two different layouts or arrangements, and this clip will show the first one. So make your way to the Spartan core, and then kind of go through this crash ship and then off to your right and up to the top of this hill. Way to the top of this hill, see these large rocks, and there's my wasp that I used to get up here. There's ammo dispenser. I have not visited this location much to determine how often that it appears, but it cooperated enough to make this clip. I've returned back to the main road in front of the Spartan core, and I'll take you to the second location. So once again, just make your way up to the Spartan core through the crash ship, and then get through and hang a right. This one's closer and easier. It's at the bottom of the hill. So you just make your way up to this area here for the second arrangement. I'm still at the North Central Spartan core, arrangement 1. You'll see it up here at the hill, just off to the left. The enemies are still around, and just walking distance to the east is a bonus dispenser. There's a brute sniper. There's going to be a shield who's got a rocket launcher. I'm running around on the sequence with control of Lima only. All other primary and secondary objectives are not completed. This dispenser seems to spawn only when Juliet is under banished control. It can spawn on its own and does not need one of the other PWADs to appear. Here at Juliet, to the southeast, you have HVT Myriad, and there's a Mjolnir Armory locker by that. It's the Banished Deception Rocket Hog coating. This location has two layouts. I'm going to take you to the first one. Doesn't matter first or second. This one has a lot of enemies, but for making the clip, I went ahead and already killed off all the enemies just to show you the location. You can also look for that hard light ammo dispenser is also a clue. But the telltale that this one is here is there's going to be a Jackal Sniper, two Jackal Majors, an Elite Ultra, a Grunt Ultra, a Mule, and a Yellow Elite, as well as other enemies which are a little further around the area that kind of guard the locker. The second location, like I said, it's also by this Mjolnir Armory locker. The telltale sign that this one appears is you'll see one Grunt Occupied Ghost and one Elite Occupied Ghost, as well as somewhat near the ammo dispenser itself, there's going to be a Shield Brute. He's got a rocket launcher. You see them, then this one, it kind of spawns in the open. It's easy to see. And nearby is the Myriad location. Okay, I'm here at what I would call the North Central Beacon, and about 580 meters off to the east is the next location. And I'm going to show you two routes to getting there. So one route for driving is I'm going to get in the Ghost. So be patient with me as we go through this. This takes a little bit. So I'm going to take the Ghost because that seems to be the quickest way to take the driving route. So I'm going to pass off these enemies. They don't concern me. I'm just going to go past them. and then finally getting to the road that leads over to the dispenser. There's going to be a few enemies down here, just past them. So I'm just going to take you to this point, and then take you over there with the wasp and just fly over there. So again, start in the north central beacon. I'm just going to right turn fly, and then head on over to the dispenser. Take out that brute sniper so he doesn't cause me any kind of damage. So coming up here to the dispenser, you're going to have a spec ops elite. I'm just going to splatter him, and then 3 grunts. So 2 up here on top of the grassy area, and then 1 kind of hangs down below the pillars. And that's just a few enemies to get to this dispenser. It is rare. This one does not like to spawn. It is hard for it to appear. From FOB Juliet, this is the road to go to Annex Ridge. And if you get the scrap cannon chieftain to appear, and you see those little roadblocks, then it's going to appear. Other times you come through here, there may be nothing. However, there are 2 alternate arrangements without the Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser. One of them is going to have a similar layout to this. It's got roadblocks with a blocked road. It's going to have a Gold Elite, Blue Elite, 2 Skimmers, and 2 Grunt Ultras. The other one, there's really nothing in the road, but there's going to be 3 Grunts, 2 Park Ghosts, and once you get in the area, then there's going to be 2 drop pods with Berserkers. Back at November, the next location is just a rock throw away. Down this little trail to the west, there's a triangle pit. And if you see a Hammer Chieftain, then the PWAD will be here. Chieftain is accompanied by a Grunt. Like I said, it kind of shows up often, kind of common, and it's really close. And I'll show you on the map. 260 meters away. Starting here at November, this next location is close to the FOB. Now it's going to look misleading because I show Zeratus on the map, but I'm not going there. It's just near the site. I'm going to be looking for a brute sniper. Now I've already killed off these enemies, but you're looking for a brute sniper. It's going to be the clue that the dispenser will be here. Along with the brute, there will be 1 to 2 grunts, the numbers vary, 1 to 2 skirmishers, and those numbers vary. There can be nothing here, however, there can be 2 different arrangements of enemies without the PWAD. I'm at the HVT Zeratus location. The PWAD only appears well after eliminating Zeratus in the area reset. A Gold Elite is the sign that the PWAD is here, accompanied by a Jackal Sniper on a ridge and 2 Jackal Majors. There are at least 2 different arrangements without the PWAD. And it seems it has a low chance to spawn. Near November, I'm going to head over to the HVT Arthok site. On the map, he is already eliminated. This would be the 4th HVT site that can spawn a PWAD. The roadblocks are a clue that the PWAD is here, however, it's not a guarantee. The Gold Elite is the sign that the PWAD will be here. He's accompanied by 2 Shield Brutes and a Mule. PWAD can appear before and after eliminating Arthok, just not when the HVT is active. And it's been my experience that this PWAD has a low chance to spawn, probably because of the other competing arrangements without the PWAD are probably heavily weighted to spawn instead. Here at FOB November. Off the distance there is a bridge. I'm going to head to that location. Prior to crossing that bridge is a roadblock. That roadblock will have an Elite Ultra, 3 Grunts, Jackal Major, and 2 Sentinels. That will be your key that the ammo dispenser will be there. Now, it was just at the location, killed off all the enemies except for the Elite Ultra, so I'm returning to kill him off just to show the location of the dispenser. It does seem like it's a low chance that it appears, because this area also features many other types of arrangements and setups without the dispenser. Here at Kilo, it is important to note that it is under banished control. Just walking distance to the southwest is a Scorpion tank, just down the main road. We continue to the left is the Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser location, real close to Kilo. This location is protected by 5 Grunt Ultras, which is the key to know if the dispenser is spawned here. I have not seen this dispenser spawn here after the FOB has been captured. This is also another new location found after making the video. This is like the south beacon or south central beacon, and we head up to the propaganda tower. Now, I have been to this propaganda tower many times from many trips of completing the game and destroying all the propaganda towers and stuff like that. Never saw it, didn't notice it or anything. And this one time I noticed it, and so in 4, 5, or 6 other trips here, it only appeared once. So I would put this in the realm of rare, but at the same time, I didn't really notice or pay attention if it ever showed. So I'm really going to say this is kind of a rare one. If you encounter a Sentinel, 4 Skimmers, and a Spec Ops Elite, the dispenser will be here. Use your map and make your way to the location of the Mjolnir Armory or the Griffin Armor emblem. Just walking distance down the road is a roadblock occupied by several enemies. And for this clip, those enemies have already been killed off. This site has 2 different arrangements. This first arrangement will have 1 Brute Major, 2 Brute Miners, 2 Grunts, 2 Jackal Miners, and then reinforcements will deploy 3 drop pods of Berserkers. The dispenser will rest next to 2 weapon racks. Still at the location of the Mjolnir locker of the Griffin Armor emblem. This is the second arrangement. This set of enemies, you will find a Hammer Chieftain, 2 Grunts, 4 Brute Miners, and a Brute Major. And there is a plasma turret, and one of the Brutes will like to get on the turret. The Hammer Chieftain is key to know that this dispenser is present. The dispenser will rest next to a single weapon rack with 2 energy swords. With 2 layouts, it is a good chance that one or the other will spawn. There is 1 or 2 other enemy placements without the dispenser, and there is a chance that nothing will be here. That concludes the Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser hunting expedition. I just showed you 49 total dispensers at 38 locations. 9 of those locations had 2 different dispenser arrangements. If you happen to know of a location of a Power Weapon Ammo Dispenser in the open world of Halo Infinite that you did not see in the video, please share in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, and thank you for watching.
Let's get back to work already!
Nice there,
Sam, there's a view for you.